What is a hypnotic language generator and what the heck makes it useful?
Well, a hypnotic language generator is not something you buy at the local hardware store, fire up with gasoline. It actually occurs in your own brain when you install this, and what makes it useful is it enables you to generate hypnotic language on the fly without even having to think about it too much.
Right, and if you think about it, well, speech is unconscious, right? We are speaking right now without any notes or anything like that.
And I'm understanding you without any notes or anything.
Yeah, and we do this all the time. We have
Everyone
conversations with people, and we don't go, what exactly are the words I'm going to use in the exact order?
Yeah,
and that's the way hypnotists need to learn how to speak, right? So where are we going from here?
Well, we're going to look at the components of a hypnotic language generator, the different speech components, and once you have these in place, they become unconscious and will just work automatically once you condition it in.
Right, which means that as a hypnotist, you'll be skilled and flexible in using your language just as you are in every so-called non-hypnotic conversation.
Every normal conversation, whatever that is, yeah.
So let's talk about a few of them. The first one we'll talk about is truisms, so things that must be in the experience. This comes from the work of Erickson, the idea being that you can speak in a way that people will understand and assign some meaning to what you're saying. Like, you can hear the sound of my voice right now. Unless you're deaf, that would be true for you.
Right. And truisms are something that will never jar the person out of the trance they're going into. You know, and we're here in the room as we proceed, and you can be aware of the temperature and feel the chair underneath you. All of these will be truisms, and you're here to be hypnotized. Things that are inarguably true and correct.
Right. Okay, so this is one of the components of something called a run-on sentence. So kind of the next thing once we get past truisms is which we also call pacing statements. We're going to learn to lead with leading statements and then connect those things using linkages. So what the heck does that all mean, Mike?
Okay, it means the longer the sentence, the more the brain of your subject is forced to attempt to follow it as the meaning continues to unpack as you go on and on and on, and as they begin to put their mind to discovering what the intrinsic purpose of what you're saying is as you continue to connect. Oh, see, I'm doing it now.
Right.
So and you're following. Yeah.
And you're basically just linking truisms, things that must be true for you in this experience.
Or possibilities.
With leading statements like, and it's easy to go into trance as you, and you're linking with and or and as or variations of that. So that's how we
and as is the simplest one. And as you listen, and as you wonder how you're going to apply this, you can realize that you can start with and as your linkage.
Right. Okay, so next step is, obviously you can throw in some other linkages, but, as, and as, when, or if, things like this.
Yeah, but it's normal speech. You just learn to put them in to continue to expand that never-ending sentence.
Right, so and really the never-ending sentence is kind of the core foundational skill to having your hypnotic language generator. Once you have that, you can build all kinds of other awesome skills, inductions and deepeners and direct suggestions and guided imagery. But let's decorate the hypnotic language a little bit more with
Nominalizations.
Nominalizations, nouns like mug, but kind of weird nouns that you couldn't put in a wheelbarrow. So
like
I could put this in a wheelbarrow.
Yeah, but you couldn't put purpose in a wheelbarrow.
I couldn't put connection.
You couldn't put understanding.
Or love. Or
all of these are nominalizations, and they have a slightly different or vastly different meaning to every person based on their own personal experience and their own beliefs and so on.
So if you add nominalizations as truisms or pacing statements, it's a simple thing to realize that there's a certain level of interest that we all have in this topic. Well, what the heck? There's a certain level of interest.
Nominalization.
There you go. So we can say things like that. It causes the brain of the listener to have to do a little bit more work than think mug, right? Coffee mug versus interest. Well, they're different things. What does interest mean? It's a little bit more confusing. It causes a little bit of a chasing of the meaning, which directs the person's attention.
Until they begin to get understanding. Now, there's another nominalization. It means something different to everybody.
It opens the door to you evoking emotions, evoking imaginations, and offering suggestions.
Now also, you're going to direct and lead your subject's attention with your words. You're refocusing their attention, and as they become used to following what you're saying. You can say, and you can turn your attention inward and notice your breathing. And as you feel that sense of breathing, it's simple to drift into a very comfortable state. You're directing their attention to their breathing inwardly, and then you're tying it to what you want, this comfortable state that will be cascaded into a trance.
Right. So if you want to learn this, we've got a couple of options. Obviously, the Mike Mandel Hypnosis Academy is a great way. We have a test drive that you can get started. It's totally free, doesn't even require a credit card. And speaking of cards, we also have these hypnotic language cards, which teach hypnotic language patterns, and they actually come with full 3 separate courses that break down all the cards, teach you how to use them. It's a lot of fun, so the cards are a great training and practice tool. Now, what do we want people to remember?
Well, remember when you're dealing with someone and you're beginning to create language unconsciously and direct them into trance, remember to pause. Take time to let them consider what you're saying. Don't rush through it like a motor mouth. Slow down for best effect and begin to calibrate the person and watch them. You'll notice when they're starting to drift into trance states as you get adroit at doing this. So slow down, lead them gently into trances with your long, never-ending sentence packed with nominalizations. But here's another trick. Word painting.
Right, and I'm just pausing and sipping my coffee because I'm acting like this guy I see on TikTok with these hilarious memes all the time. But word painting is about, let's say, decorating the way you speak. Right?
Adding emotion.
So instead of saying something like, and it's a simple thing to realize that we have hypnotic language cards, and you might want these hypnotic language cards because hypnotic language can be fun. That's kind of robotic and boring,
Absolutely.
Right? But if I say, you could really find yourself interested in learning hypnotic language in a way that will magnify the results in your life when you're communicating with others in a transformative way.
That's very important, because one of the mistakes a lot of hypnotists, even experienced hypnotists, make is this mythology that they have adopted that you have to talk in a monotone, and you're sitting there and you're getting tired, and you're getting relaxed. How much better to word paint it? And as you sit there and feel deep down inside you, that relaxation begins to occur as you drift into a really comfortable trance.
And Mike,
much better.
When you think about this, all hypnosis and all conversation, they map across in so many ways, because who wants to sit there listening to somebody telling a story about their vacation with that same monotone?
The beach was very nice.
It was very nice.
The window.
We enjoyed the restaurants at the resort. But if you think about an interesting conversation and you make your hypnotic language just as interesting with that pacing, leading, linkages, nominalizations, word painting, ooh, you're gonna be an amazing hypnotist. That's about it. We'll wrap that up. So check out the Mike Mandel Hypnosis Academy, MikeMandelHypnosis.com. We'll put the links in the description under this video so you can check out our test drive and our cards should you wish, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks once again, and good night.